2. All right, and here we are. Welcome to the Beyond the Crown podcast. I am Lewis, and today I am here with
I'm Tommy J.
Tommy J, interviewer, backstage correspondent extraordinaire.
Can go on and on.
The man of many gimmicks. You folks will see that. You folks will see that coming soon. You got Dean Malenko, the man of 1,000 holds, Chris Jericho, the man of 1,001 holds, and Tommy J, the man of 1,002 gimmicks. So thank you for taking time today, Tommy, to hang out with me and to just to hang out and just to talk a little bit. And we've done like a test podcast before, and we just had a good time talking, and
it was fun. It was really good.
And being a part to just hang out together. Like I really enjoy hanging out with the Crown of Main Wrestling crew, and I wish we could do it more often, and we are. We're doing it more often with Discord now, so I appreciate you guys being here. So I kind of just want to jump right into it, because one of the first things I want to know about you is you're young, right? You're young. A lot of us started off young. I used to be young at one point. I don't know if you believe that or not, but I used to be young.
Crazy.
How did you get involved with Crown of Main Wrestling? And you're the interviewer and the backstage correspondent. Like, how did that all transpire?
It's crazy to me, because from a young age, I always wanted to somehow, some form, be a professional wrestler. So, first show I ever came to was the Mars Hill, was it Hardcore Havoc 2? My friend Jake, he had posted a flyer on Snapchat for just to promote it. And it was like we say all the time, I didn't realize that there was wrestling up here. I feel like that's a big thing. And so he invited me to the show because he had already known that I was a big wrestling fan. We'd watched WrestleMania together, stuff like that. So went to the show. I remember it. Like, I remember a lot of that show. And to be honest, just after that, I stayed just to see what it was like. Because he just basically said, "Hey, just stay here for a little bit." So I helped break the ring down. Funny story about that show, actually. My door was caved in at that show. You're muted.
What the hell does that mean? Is that a sexual thing? What are you talking about? The door was caved in. What does that mean?
So, Aries' wife, she had accidentally backed into my door, my car door.
Oh no!
I remember, I think she came in and was like, "Whoever has a black Equinox, I dented your door." And we were in the middle of breaking the ring down, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I run out. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I gotta go." And
wow.
I think that is the most memorable part of that show, is that the door of my car was caved in.
Welcome to the business, kid.
Wasn't even part of the business.
That is fun. I'm sorry. It sucks, but that is funny, but crazy.
It's so funny now.
Holy smokes! So you were tearing down the ring. You were at Hardcore Havoc 2, which that was. You said Mars. Was that? Oh, you're from Mars Hill.
I'm from Mars Hill, so
okay.
It was right there.
That was perfect for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Hardcore Havoc 2. Yeah, all that. And that was your first time seeing Crown of Main Wrestling?
That was my first time ever hearing of it, seeing it.
Wow, yeah, we got to get better at that.
I definitely feel like we have.
Well, I don't remember the last time we've done Mars Hill, aside from that show. Like, maybe that's why, because if you're from Mars Hill and you haven't really heard about Crown of Main Wrestling, that's probably the reason why, because we haven't, like, we're getting better at branching out to do other towns.
Yep.
But I don't think Mars Hill was a thing.
I don't think so.
Before. So that probably makes sense why you haven't heard of it, and you're from there. So you went to you saw a flyer on Snapchat. Who says social media is the devil? And it gave us a new fan, and it gave us the Man of 1,002 gimmicks.
Yeah.
So that's how you got. So that's not really explaining like how you got involved in it. So you were there. You started helping tear out the ring.
Yeah.
How did it go from that to like the Man of 1,002 gimmicks, fucking interviewer, backstage correspondent, all of that?
Uh, I can't really even tell you how I got into it, to be honest. I think I just went with Jake and his parents, Mike and Amanda, and I was just once again a fan basically, but I was kind of still helping bring in the ring, tear it apart, and then as the shows went on, I'd find myself backstage, and after that we were just screwing around because we needed somebody to do an in-ring interview with Ray and Jacques Louis Francois. And so we were screwing around trying to figure out a name to introduce me as, and I think it was King and Archer. And they were like Tommy J, just off the bat. And it stuck.
You just accepted it right then and
So
there. I think I was there for
I
that
I
conversation too. I was saying
were
I was saying
you?
Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson. I was like,
Yes, we were
oh,
trying to
Thomas
figure.
Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson.
Yeah, it was that was just basically how it started, and I just ended up doing backstage interviews and interviews in ring.
So let's talk about that. Talk about that. How was? Do you remember? And you should because it was fairly recent. Do you remember your first interview and how did you feel when you were doing that first interview?
I was extremely nervous. That was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever done. I'm not into crowds, which is crazy to say for somebody in the wrestling business, but I get stage fright so bad. And through the whole afternoon before the show, I was talking to King, and he's like, "Dude, you've got it, you've got it." And I went out there, and I was nervous. It wasn't my best work, but for my first time, it was. I can tell you, I had a blast.
Was that was that a Van Buren? Was that one of the Van Buren
Yes,
shows?
that
Or
was the Van Buren show.
was that and that was in ring?
Yeah, it was that was the first interview I ever did was the in-ring interview with Ray and
Wow. First interview. Welcome to the business. We need you. Get out
yeah,
there. You got this in front of a
it
crowd. You're
was
not a
crazy.
crowd person.
They're like,
Uh,
just bring a change of clothes just in case. Just bring a nice pair of clothes just in case.
Holy. And the entire time you're probably just nervous as hell. You're like, oh,
I
like
was
you're
shitting
excited. You're
bricks.
excited to do it. You're excited to do it, but at the same time you're like, oh, I'm really doing this. I'm really doing this, right?
I was backstage and I was getting ready. I felt like I was gonna pass out.
Oh man. So you did it, and then it was over. How'd you feel?
Great. I mean, I went back and had some uh criticisms, but you know what I mean. They were for just structural criticisms to help me get better. And I definitely feel like I've gotten better at it since. I'd have to say. I mean, I've done interviews, I've announced matches, I did half of the King of the County show.
Announcing.
Um, yeah, I remember I did the first half of our King of the County show.
So tell me about that. So now you went from interviewing. Now you're announcing, still in front of a crowd, a little bit different now because you don't have the one person that you're just talking to or talking about, and that but
Yeah,
you're projecting your voice and you're setting up the excitement for the people coming out. Tell us about that experience.
that topped my nerves from just interviewing. The announcing is like 10 times harder because you've got the name, you've got the town, you've got the weight. And you know, we talk about you always want to be facing the hard cam. I am just looking around everywhere. If you watch that, I am just looking. I'm just starstruck because I don't. I'm like, what the hell? Just looking around.
And you mentioned King. Has King given you? Is he like a mentor when it comes to like the interviewing and announcing? Has he given you tips? Has he talked to you on the side? Is he the
Abs-
guy who's helping you out?
Absolutely, King is a huge part in not only just announcing and interviewing, but helping me get into the business. I mean, I probably wouldn't be here if he wasn't the one giving me tips on how to interview, how to announce. You know, he takes me. He first time I had to get cards at that King of the County show, he was taking me around, showing me how to greet the guys, to get their info and stuff like that. So he was a huge help and still is.
Oh, that brings you to the next question. How was it going up to the guys? And some of them you knew, some of them are new to you, some of them you know, and you've kind of talked with before. Others you've never met before. That might have been the first time. How about that? How was that feeling with going up to these people to try to get the information that you needed?
Yeah, I mean, I was up talking to Eric and you know, new guys. Eric I had never talked to before. Donkey, so many guys that I had never talked to before, and it's nerve-wracking because you know, you they're they understand that it's your job, but it's still nerve-wracking going up and having to be like, "Hey, can I take this amount of time? Just I need a couple things." It's hard to do at first.
You gotta own it, right?
Yeah,
You gotta own it. And that's great that you're working with King because King is like that. If because again, like you said, this is your job, right? So you need this information.
yeah,
So listen, I'm sorry to interrupt you talking about whether it be your match or the wedding you went to last night or your kid's birthday party, but listen, I need this information for you because I have
yep,
other people I gotta talk to and I gotta get my cards together and I gotta right. So you just gotta own it. So I'm glad you're getting that experience to just get out there and talk to people who you may have not
yeah.
spoken to before. Um, to do that. So we're very happy to have you, and you have a lot of passion
I
for wrestling. How's the transition from fan to now participating in the business like you are?
it's it's surreal. It's so weird going from sitting in the crowd watching your favorite guys to being in the back cheering on your favorite guys, coming back and, you know, just talking to them about their match, stuff like that. It's weird.
Did did this did anything surprise you? Did what you see and what you're experiencing from the business right now, is it what you expected?
Yes and no. I mean,
Yeah.
these guys seem so serious. I mean, you know, you're coming out, you have a match, you're stressed, the adrenaline's going, but these guys are some of the nicest guys that you will ever talk to. So much the knowledge that they are willing to give to us new guys and stuff like that, it's not what I expected.
I agree with you because when I first jumped in there, um, into the business, um, I didn't know what to expect from the locker room
Yeah.
at all. So when I went there, I was very like I was I can't remember how I got into the like working with Eric and going down there and doing that.
Yep.
It might have just been a message and him being like, absolutely sure, come on down. We have shows this time, we do seminars that time, and I got involved in that. Paid for seminars that were down there as well,
Yep.
and all that. I've taken King. I'm sure you've heard stories of me and King traveling down there, and if not, then just wait for our little his episode of this podcast. He has plenty of stories,
That one.
plenty of stories. I love that guy, and I wish I could hang out with him more, even in person than what we actually have over these years. Um, I didn't know what to expect at all. I knew that I went to IW with a chip on my shoulder. I went down there with like, listen, I am good enough, right? And I know that these guys didn't know me, so I had to go down there, do the seminars, do the little trainings, do my little neck ups, and do my little squats in the ring, and whatever I had to do. But I really just wanted to be able to showcase my ability in the ring for Eric, the bookers, whoever it was Eric at the time, but whoever else was watching, that I can do this. And my first match down at IWE was a triple threat match, and it was in Brewer at a restaurant. And they put me up against Roadblock and Hobo Joe. And I've already been watching these guys because IWE has a YouTube channel just like we have. So I was already watching their product. So I went down there and I worked with both of them, and we had a good match. And I got speared and fucking I took the pin, which is fine. And when I came out initially, I saw I was a heel. I was TJ Santana. So I'm talking my smack, and this is really big guy. Right as soon as you come out of the entryway, he's still at the shows, by the way. He's like the green shirt guy. I don't know who you are, green shirt guy for for Northern Maine, but he's still like at Limitless shows and all that. But he was there back at IWE, big old guy. And I come out, and he's talking smack to me, and I'm talking smack to him, and I'm working the crowd. I did my best in that match. On my way out, that same big fucking guy that was him and I would kind of jawing off to each other, like gave me like one of these, right? He had one of these,
Yeah.
and I was just like, hell yeah! Like I feel like I just showed my worth to. This is a fan. If I showed my worth to this guy, I'm sure that people have seen what I just did. Fun fact: nobody saw what the fuck I did. Everybody else is busy doing what the hell they're working on.
Doing whatever they're doing. Yeah.
Doing what they're doing, right? They're working on their matches. Eric is busy being the businessman and taking care of business. But it wasn't what I expected. I expected to be looked down upon. I was expected not to be taken serious. But everybody that I met down there in the locker room, like I said, nice guys, man. Truly genuine, cool people to be around. And we have similarities.
Absolutely.
Professional wrestling. You're in a locker room with 30 people that you share a similar activity of professional wrestling. Like there's nowhere else that I can go that I have that connection with people, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That connection. So, and that's the beautiful thing about professional wrestling. You have your outliers and people who might be blacklisted for whatever reason, or people that people just kind of tend to stay away from. But the majority of the time, man, like it may be intimidating at first, but the longer you're in this business, the more you start to realize they're just like me. We're just trying to put on a good show for the fans.
Yep.
Some people are looking in here to get booked, hopefully in other promotions by their hard work at the smaller promotion. So, and speaking of those promotions, you've done a lot of traveling, which is quite interesting. That for somebody who's just recently into interviewing and backstage segments, someone who hasn't really done like wrestling in the ring. I know you're doing some training, so we'll talk about that.
Yep.
But you have traveled as if you were taking bookings to work matches. You've been to Limitless, as much as I can tell, a few times. You've been to MPW. Yep. You've been down there with all the fucking ring rentals. So every promotion right now in the state of Maine, for the most part, you have been there. So like, you traveled more than some of the guys in the business in general, and you're just tagging along, which is awesome.
Yeah.
What are some of the similarities that you see with a lot of these promotions when you're involved with helping with the ring and setting up and tearing down, and just the vibe of the people? Do you see any similarities amongst the promotions?
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like no matter where you go, everybody up here has pretty much got the same priority, and that's to have a good show. So, we're over there setting up the ring, and the rest of these guys are going over their matches. Stuff like that. It's just I think everybody just wants to have a good show and put on a good show, and I think that's pretty much the same anywhere you go up here.
Do you feel that in the air? Like what do you feel in the air when you're at these promotions as these guys are getting ready for this show coming up?
You can feel the nerves sometimes. If you've got a championship match, a big championship match, stuff like that, you can feel how nervous these guys are to put on a good show. But you can also, I think you can feel how excited everybody is, because I think show day is the same for a lot of people. Everybody's excited to be there. It's an exciting day.
Excitement and nervousness. I think you nailed it. I think that's because I've every single time I'm behind Gorilla, behind the curtain, and I'm hearing the announcement of me coming up, right? From Puerto Rico, 100, and I'm sitting back there, bro, and I'm just like,
I know. I watch you sometimes. You'll be bouncing
you see
around.
me,
And,
right? That
Mhm.
is a natural reaction for me. Like I'm not trying to do that. I'm not. It's just the excitement and the nervousness is just making me move. Like I gotta move, bro,
Yep.
because I gotta. You see me do this a lot too. I start doing this here
Mhm.
because I can feel it in my hands.
Get that
I'm trying
tingle.
to get that tingle. I got it right now. Just talking about it, man. I got the tingles right now. But it's always like going out there. It's always awkward when you first go out there because, especially when you work new places you never worked before. As soon as you come out that entry behind that curtain, man, they're just looking at the crowd's just looking at you.
Yeah.
They're like
They're
this.
just like, who the hell is this guy?
They're waiting. They're waiting for their signal. They're waiting to see. Okay,
Yep.
this is a good guy. This is a bad guy.
Yep.
And then to be try to be creative enough to try to make them hate you like right away.
In the
That
new
is
place
hard.
too.
And a new place. That is so hard to do, and I feel like a lot of people may underestimate that it's hard to be a heel and be hated at a new place when during your entrance, right?
Yep.
And then you gotta like for me, I like to try to watch the shows to see what other people are doing. Sometimes I'm not able to, especially now because I'm helping with other things. But
Yep.
the whole shut up thing is a dead giveaway that you're a heel, but it's so overly used, right? It's overly
Mhm.
used. I know there was an idea of that we talked about when we got together one time about like blank checks and writing things on it.
Mhm.
We're not gonna say it, right? Because we don't want it taken.
Nope.
But that is a beautiful idea and it's different and
Mhm.
creative, right? I think it's hard to be creative as a heel to get that heat that you need in a baby
Yeah.
face. It's but we all feel the same way. We're all nervous. We all want to have a good match. We want. I don't even know if it's for us that we want to have a good match, or for our opponent, or for the audience, or for YouTube. But all I know is that for me personally, I want to have a match for the crowd. I mean,
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a mix of all, but definitely for the crowd, I think is these are paying fans
mm,
and they deserve to have a good show. And I'm not saying that we don't deserve to have a good show, but these are paying customers who are taking time out of their day to come and watch what we do.
mhm. That's a good way to think
So
about
I
that.
think,
So early on too, and you being in here, you understand that the crowd is where it's at, right?
yeah, the crowd is the most important thing. Without the crowd, we don't have anything.
When I think of when I talk about my matches with whoever it is, I think of moments, and then I imagine how the crowd is going to react to it. I'm sure
Mhm.
I hope and I believe that a lot of the guys when they're working on their matches, they think like that, right? They're thinking like, hey,
Yep.
if we do this, we're expecting for the crowd to react like this, right? And then when
Yep.
you do that, when you hit that moment, when you hit that move or whatever the case may be, and the crowd reacts the way you were hoping for, that is beautiful. That is a
Yep.
beautiful. You're writing the future. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's incredible. It is an incredible feeling to do something that you okay. The crowd should pop here, and then it happened. Like that. That is art, right? Because this is
Like no
there's a
matter.
craft. This is the art form, man. This is an
Yep.
art form, and I hope that the guys that are working for at least for us are thinking that what's the reaction that we're looking to get from the crowd, right? Here's one thing that I don't like about some matches that happen. You know how the crowd gets behind the babyface,
Yep.
uh, but it happens throughout the entire match.
Mhm.
There's so when the moment we need it to happen, it doesn't feel special,
Yeah.
right?
You've
So
got this
those are
guy in a
moments.
headlock 20 times and he's over there wanting your support and it's like by the time he needs the support, it's not it doesn't feel like he's
Right.
got it.
It doesn't feel like that. That's one of the things that's a babyface thing too, right? Like the baby faces have
Mhm.
to work that out and
Yeah,
find
they
a
gotta.
position when they talk about their matches, find when they're hoping for that moment to happen, right? Usually a hold, right? Fucking bear hug, sleeper hold, full
Yep.
Nelson, just a hold. That's where the crowd, boom, that's where you want them, right there,
Mhm.
right? And then what happens? He comes up from the headlock, back elbow. He hits the ropes. He comes back and he gets fucking taken out with a clothesline.
Yep.
Brings the
And it just
crowd down,
kills.
kills
Yep.
it, right? And then we'll do something later on, build it up again. Boom, 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 boom. There's the heartbeat. That's the baby face right there. That's his heartbeat.
Yep.
Boom. Hits the double back elbow, hits the rope. Heel tries to throw the line. Now this time, babyface ducks, hits the ropes, spinning heel kick. Spinning heel kick. That's me over
Yep.
there. My dog is being a sissy boy over there. Over there. So, and I'm glad. I feel, and again, I hope that the guys are thinking about the fans mostly, as opposed to
Absolutely.
like getting their shit in and then just. I don't see a lot of people posting their own stuff. You see anybody filming their stuff? I'm an advocate of filming your own stuff, and a
I
lot of
know I
people
filmed your
don't.
stuff quite a few times.
Yes, and I thank you very much for that. And a lot of guys don't film the
Yeah.
stuff. So if you're listening to this, film your stuff and stop waiting for the promotion to post your stuff. Record your own stuff. God damn it! I got something written down here. What are your short-term goals in wrestling, in professional wrestling? What is your short term? Right? If I say short term, I mean maybe this year. What are your goals this year?
I'd love to wrestle. I'd love to step into the ring one on one and put on a match. That's the one short term that I have for this year.
Who would you want as your first match?
Oh man, you.
Oh. Oh yeah, because we put hands on each other in Van Buren. That was wrestling. We were calling it in the ring
Yeah.
and having fun. I don't know how everyone started watching and then counting. But
I know that was like I
it was
don't even know
fun.
how to.
I was and that's what we do. Like we just fuck around and
Yep.
like the boys. Like we even you go
Yeah.
downstate and you get familiar with people that start putting their hands on you, putting you in a sleeper hold and a wrist lock, and we can't keep our
Yep.
hands off each other once we get to know each other. We can't keep our hands off each other. When it comes to all of that, what is some of your long term goals in professional wrestling?
As much as it doesn't affect anything really, I'd love to be a champion. I'd love to hold gold.
Mm,
I think that that is a big thing for a lot of guys, and obviously, I could care if I never held it, but I think that that's just something that I would love to do. I don't know. I think that's just where every wrestler goes when you ask them what they want out of this.
right. To be a champion.
Yep.
Because it does mean something to a point, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
the idea of, hey, I want to be a champion, that's not far-fetched because listen, I haven't talked to an adult that says they started watching wrestling as an adult, right?
Yeah, no.
Usually they were much younger, right? They were
Yep.
practically teenagers or children watching wrestling, and the champions always stuck out for the most part, aside from like the people that you favorited the most. But the champions, the big gold titles, always
Yeah.
stuck out. They were the man. In order to be the man, you gotta beat the man. Like those moments
Yeah.
in professional wrestling. So that translates to independent wrestling. Like I respect people that want to hold those championship titles in a promotion, even though in the grand scheme of things, that may not mean that. And a lot of people would
Yeah.
say, "Hey, relax, it's just a prop." We know it's a prop, but that prop has meant something to me my entire childhood,
Mhm.
right? So just to be able to have one to fulfill that childhood
And
dream.
I think that's what it is about it too. You hit the as Logan Lennox would say, you hit the nail on the head.
Oh God.
I don't even want to talk about that guy. But
Joy was like, "What was that about?" And I had to
yeah,
be
what was
like,
that about, huh? You know.
well. Joey, if you see this, we have something planned for you.
Oh, we have something
I
planned.
just didn't want to tell you during the podcast. I wanted to ruin it for you. and I can say it here because he may not see this, right? So I'll take my chance of saying it here. So I understand that feeling, to a point, because I know that we talked about like promoters booking themselves to win titles all the time, and that's not just the here. That's I'm not saying here, but just almost
Anywhere.
every small promotion, the owners, bookers, whatever, are usually holding a title of some sort for whatever reason. So maybe that's the fulfillment that they're looking for.
Yeah.
And I get that, because if I was in that position, eventually I would put something to myself, but I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to do it right away, right? I want to build up
No.
people and stories and make sense that I'm in that picture. But I could understand that how that feels. I could tell you that I don't know how that feels because I haven't been a champion in my career, I want to say professional career, up when I started actually getting trained with actual seminars and people who are traveling the country and all that. Because before then it wasn't that, right? It was other shit. I've never held a title. I've held a title like before the show or whatever, in the back.
Yeah, you know.
And when I hold it, I legitimately hold it and I'll look at it. And I think the last one was the Arista County Championship title. I grabbed it one of the shows and I just kind of held it and looked at it, and I was like, man, I've never had this. Like I will love. See, that's that
To
childhood
just
thing.
hold
Like
this up.
I would like to just it be mine, right? But I also believe that if you are a champion, you gotta work hard, right?
You've got to work harder than anybody else in that roster.
You gotta work
I
harder
believe.
than everybody else on that roster. Your matches gotta be on point. The promoters are gonna book you with some talent you may have never seen before, and you gotta make it work. And you gotta stay at the top performance for the company, because you're the face essentially of the company. You're the main event for the most part too, right? So you gotta
Yep.
go out with a bang for those shows. So I get long term you would like to hold a title. What about training though? What is something that you may have thought would have been one way, but it's actually different and not what you expected when it comes to like the trainings you might have had?
You know how weird it is being a right-handed person having to work with your left 24/7?
Yes, because I'm
I
right-handed and
hate
working my
it.
left.
Oh my god, when we first stepped into that ring and we're locking up and they're like, you always do stuff with your left. It is such a hard thing to get used to.
It is. Yep.
It is so weird trying to get used to that.
Yep. I know.
I think that is the hardest obstacle that I've had to overcome
Yeah,
in training so far.
it's all left. It's so it's left is right if it's right is wrong. You know what I'm saying? Which, thinking about it now, it's if just thinking about it, I feel awkward imagining moves on the right.
Yeah, imagining like, oh my god, that's weird. Because I'm imagining just a lockup right now, and it's like
Yep.
you've got to like that. No, that's so wrong. I don't like that.
See,
Just try.
right hand,
Yeah,
strong,
like I'm
strong
so
hand.
used to shooting off of this now.
It's strong hand, right? Because we're
Yeah.
right-handed. Our right hand is the dominant hand. When I watch matches and I see somebody do anything on the right side, I'm like, right? I'm
Fucked
like,
up, buddy.
was that a right-handed DDT? Was that a right-handed suplex, bro? Like, what the right? What are you doing? Like, we do hip tosses right. We could do left. We could do a right. Shoulder blocks left. The way you get up left. Around and around.
Yep.
Everything was left. I know. So here's my wrestling story, real quick, that I'll share with you. So I was doing like backyard wrestling, and I'm sure a lot of us were. I was doing it at 13 years old. I was going to visit my cousin one time. I had to walk across the neighborhood, and when I had to cut through a park. When I cut through the park, my cousin was outside, and I thought that he was in a fight with three other kids, which we're young, right? 13, 14,
Yep.
15. So I thought my cousin was in a fight. I thought my cousin was getting jumped at the park. I see it. So I run to where they are, and I'm like, yo, what's going on? What's going on? And they stop. They're like, oh, we're wrestling. And I was like, you guys are wrestling? And they're like, yeah, we're wrestling. I was like, I fucking love wrestling, right? I love wrestling. So I joined them, and from that, just meeting the people me and one of those guys became best friends, and we're still friends 25 years later or whatever, from that meeting right there.
Yeah.
So we went from doing that to doing we were wrestling at the park. That because that's where they were at the park. The swing sets and the slides, and they had like the
Yep.
mulch, like the wood chips.
Mm-hmm.
So we started wrestling. I started to realize that these guys they're just playing, but me, I wanted to really make it look good. So I was
Yep.
teaching them how to like get close for punches, how to take bumps, how to do suplexes, even though I was doing it on the right side. Suplexes, like how to really do things
Yeah.
correctly. I was 13 years old doing that, right? So we were doing things, but we were being safe. I was being safe with these people. We
Yep.
took that and we grew that to about 20 fucking kids doing backyard wrestling at a park. We had a card. We had cards written out for the weekend of who was gonna wrestle
Wow.
who. We had championship titles that we made out of cardboard. We had hardcore matches. We had a ladder match, and it was whoever gets the bandana that's tied up on the basketball hoop
Yep.
won the match. And I'm 13, I'm 14, I'm 15, like I'm 16. By 18, I moved up here, got into
Yep.
wrestling up here. But I was already doing that since 13 years old, right? And some people are like, oh, you were a kid, you were doing backyard stuff, you don't know any better. No, listen, you don't understand. Like I took the time to try to be safe with my friends,
Make this safe. Yeah.
right? How to take bumps. I was teaching how to take bumps before I even knew how to teach bumps.
Yeah.
I was already doing it. Tuck your head, drop like this, because I watched wrestling. I watched wrestling so not only did I watch wrestling, I really watched wrestling. Right, the moves, how the hands are connecting around during a
Mhm.
headlock, the faces, the sweat drip down the face. I'm watching everything closely, right?
Yep.
And then was able to translate that into having a person that trusted me enough to do stuff like that. Have you yourself done any sort of backyard wrestling like that yourself? You have to have.
It
No.
it wasn't really backyard, but I mean, I'd be on the trampoline and I, I had I didn't have any friends that were into wrestling. It
Uh,
wrestling, you had it in the 90s, in the 2000s, and it was still cool. When I was younger, wrestling wasn't cool anymore to a lot of people.
mm,
So in that sense, I was an outcast. I didn't have anybody to talk to about wrestling. I was on my own. I mean, I remember being in fourth, fifth grade, and they would have us write out these things about what we wanted to be. And mine was always, I want to be a professional wrestler. And I was always the only one.
mm.
It was not something that I ever had friends to talk to about or do wrestling moves with and stuff like that. It was hard.
Did you ever talk? I mean, aside from like writing those foot class and all that about professional wrestling or wanted to be a professional wrestler, did you ever talk about wrestling or try to talk wrestling with people when you were younger to see?
Absolutely. I mean, show and tell. I was bringing action figures. I was bringing my titles. Everything, anything that I could do wrestling wise, it was there. But there was just never anybody. I had maybe one friend who was into wrestling, and we
Mm.
we weren't that close. So it was like, well, shit. What am I gonna do?
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
why I am so greatly appreciative of being a part of this company, to have people to talk to about wrestling. It's surreal because, again, going from being a 11-year-old that had nobody to talk to about wrestling to almost 20, and being backstage with a group full of guys that do basically nothing but wrestle is great.
Yeah. Absolutely. I just want to clear the air. We do work.
Well, I'm just saying.
So
I
everybody
I
listen
know
to this. We are all employed.
everybody is employed, but, well,
Not
almost
everyone,
everybody.
but you know that's
Not
a
everyone.
no. That's a you made a great point that back in my era growing up, I had that network of people
Yep.
of kids that watch wrestling as well. Cable, right? No streaming
Yep.
services, no cell phones. cable. I watched the Monday Night Raw was on the USA Network, which was channel 34, and WCW Monday Night Nitro was on
Yeah.
channel 33, which was TNT, the Ted Turner Network. And I would switch from 34. Oh, there's a commercial to 33.
30.
Oh, there's a commercial back to 34 all night, watching all of that. The funny thing about that is my close friends that I mentioned that my cousin was wrestling with, we never really talked about wrestling like WWE, or every time we got together we talked about our wrestling, right? And we had a promotion called SRW, Southern Rec, because it was behind a recreation center, Southern
Yep.
Rec Wrestling, and we never talked wrestling. We did it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We did it. And our time is different because again we just had cable, so we had to catch it then, and nobody was really open talking about wrestling like that. You saw a lot of cardboard championship titles that people were making, but you're right. Like for me, luckily I had my friend group to keep me going with wrestling, and
Yeah.
unfortunately you didn't have the same thing. And now you have that. And I'm happy that you're in a group
Yeah.
now that you can talk wrestling and have that now as an older person. Because my time was Bret the Hitman Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin for the title. Your era was what, like the Shield coming in?
Yeah, the Shield. I mean, maybe a little earlier than that. I mean, you had Cena and Rock. The Shield was coming in, stuff like that.
A young CM Punk. Did you have a young CM Punk, or he was still gone? Because he was gone like 9 years or so, right?
I had like the maybe 2011, 2012 CM Punk.
Gotcha. Oh man,
Yeah,
you saw the video of the OVW referee?
I did see that.
I saw it before we started talking. I came across it earlier at work. I just saw like a picture
Yeah.
from, I can't remember what wrestling site I was on, but
Yeah.
it popped up. I saw a picture and I was like, okay. Up until King shared it, I saw it, and I've never seen a referee take. I don't want to call it a bump. I'll be honest.
It's
I don't want to call it a bump. This guy took, what was it? It wasn't that he took
it
a
was a
move.
crossbody.
It's like the guy landed on this fucking kid's head.
Yeah, it was a crossbody. He landed wrong, and it ended up giving him some brain damage that led to the seizure.
Oh man,
And
and
it's
you had some strong words about that though, about the guys who were working that show, in that match.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's just pure negligence on those guys.
Mm.
Who do you see, especially a ref, taking that kind of bump and not rolling out to the ring, rolling to the side, rolling to the apron? Where do you see a ref laying in the center of the ring where he took the bump and going stiff for that long too? You don't just, few seconds, maybe. But to be laying there for a whole 30 seconds while those guys are getting their work in, because that seemed to be all they cared about, and just letting him sit there and have that seizure and kicking him to the side nonetheless.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
That's sad.
I think that we I think that we I just saw it like an hour ago.
Yep.
No one is that good at selling. You know what I mean? Like there's
No.
nobody that I've seen sell a move and I'm like, oh shit, I hope they're okay. I've seen people get hurt and be like, oh man, I hope they're okay. But people
Yeah.
selling, I don't think. And I know that people were talking about the wrestlers in that match and how they felt like it should have been up to those guys to help their brother, right?
Yeah.
And I think the biggest, when the one of the guys grabbed this kid as he's seizing, by the way, legs extended straight out and like seizing, grabs him, tries to shift him over. As he tries to roll him over, he's still stiff. And then he just starts to like nudge him away with his foot. I
Yeah.
think that guy should get a talking to. The other two were kind
Oh,
of
he
working.
shouldn't just get a talking to. He should be blacklisted from any company ever. You in this business, the first thing that we ever learn is you take care of whoever you are in the ring with. And I don't care if it's just another wrestler, it's anybody in that ring. That ref took a bump that was planned. He is now involved in that match. You take care of him too.
Oh, that was very well said. That was very. I don't think I've heard that, to be honest with you, because when it comes to hey, take care of the people you're in the ring with, we think our opponent. We're not thinking the ref, which is quite interesting that you mentioned that. That's
like
very, very grown of you.
I would look at Mo like that. I would look at Joey. I would look at Greg. Any of our referees. Those guys are in the ring too. They are part of that match. So you've got to look at them like a fellow worker.
Yeah, this poor kid took a man. He had to do.
I'm glad he's doing better now. I just saw a picture that he had a thumbs up while he was in the hospital bed, so he's doing better. But just negligence is what I would call that.
You ever got yourself injured in something? Like you ever got seriously injured? You ever broke a bone before in your life? How about that?
I have never broken a bone. I've sprained some things, but I've never full on broken anything. Nothing like that.
No. I say that I've had my nose broken because it's all messed up, but we were playing basketball with no rules, and the kid punched me in the face.
Yeah.
No,
that usually happens
no fouls.
when you have no fouls. Yep. No.
No fouls.
Yeah, they usually say no harm, no foul, but there's probably some harm there.
I remember what it felt like.
There was harmful intent there.
I never felt nothing like that in my life, man. Oh, the blood just rushing to the tip of my nose, like I was dripping, bro. I was dripping. I even tried the Home Alone, like take the spoon to the side of the nose and squeeze it. This was around the time I was wrestling, right? When I was young, but I was a kid. This is about like 14, 15 years old, right at the park where we were wrestling at. I was doing crazy shit too, and that's another thing, man. When you start doing this, like take care of yourself and your body. Yeah. I know during trainings I mentioned a bump card. You only have so many bumps to take, and that number could be a high number, right? It could be a low number. We don't know what your bump card holds, how many bumps your bump card holds. But once it expires, once you use it up, your body's gonna tell you
it's done.
Like like you can't. It's gonna you're gonna hate to have to take a bump. I went from taking seminars and doing bumps to working on my match while literally taking moves, the bumps, doing all that before my match. That as I got older, I stopped doing that, and I will only bump during my match. That's it. I don't bump any other time. I'm not bumping any other time. I would only take a bump during my match because that's where I'll save it. And now the bumps that I take in a match before, remember I told you I was trying to prove myself, the WWE, blah blah blah. Yeah. I'll do whatever the hell I needed to do to get some eyes. Now my work is not me taking those bumps. My storytelling and my work now is slow and methodical. Right, everything's slow and methodical now. Strategic.
But that works as a heel.
Yeah, well, it works as a babyface too, because if you have your match set up, as a competitive match, this is a quote unquote fight, right? And some trainers, some people that you do some seminars with would tell you, hey, this is a fight. Why would you turn your back on him? That type of shit, right? Wesley Pipes would mention that. Why would you turn your one of the things that a lot of trainers hate is when you do a shoulder block on someone, they take the bump, and then you hit the rope, you run away from them to hit the rope, and they drop down, and you jump over them. That shit.
Yeah,
dude, I haven't heard of one trainer that likes that, because they're saying if you hit him with a shoulder block and you drop him down, why don't you pin him? He's down. Why are you running away from him?
Yep.
Right, you're giving him time to get up. You're giving him time to do something. And the thing about it is, that's the wrestling
It's
that
it's
has
funny because yeah, because in no regular fight are you doing that. You are not dropping somebody and just, I'm gonna go and run away
you're
now.
gonna jump on them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like some things only make sense in
in wrestling,
professional
yeah,
wrestling, and that is one of them.
and that is one of them exactly.
Yep.
The 10 punch,
Run away from your opponent.
the 10 punch. What about the 10 punch?
Yep.
That's only something you get away with wrestling.
Yep. Especially when they do the 9 and then they sit there and they're building up the crowd. 10. You are not getting away with that anywhere else.
Yeah, yeah. Me and I did that in a show, and then after I watched it, I was just like, that looks really cheesy. That's cheesy. Fucking leave that for a baby face that's fun and 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, let him have fun with that. But
Yeah. I get it builds up the crowd, but it's like you're not getting away with that anywhere else.
some people would like to. That's the cool thing about wrestling is that a lot of the traditional things like that,
Yep.
like the shoulder block, hit the ropes, drop down, all that, is those are so ingrained into the business, into a match, that people can literally take that and twist it. And
Yep.
the fans are like, oh, here we go, 10 punch. Oh, here we go, tackle, drop down, leapfrog. And then you could twist it, right? So people who take that and then instead of 1, 9, 1, 8, 9, 10, he goes up there, he goes 1, 2, and then the third one, the heel just fucking picks him up and drops him on the turnbuckle.
Yeah, or when
see what
they're
I'm saying?
going for their 10th, they do it.
Right. I like to do it less than that. So,
Well, yeah.
professional wrestling says that things are in threes. So if you're in a side headlock and you're trying to get it off, it's going to be 1 elbow, 2 elbows, 3 elbows, right? And then you get off you get out of the headlock and then move on. Me, I like to do one elbow, 2 elbows. Let that be the release of the headlock, and then hit the ropes. So I'm not a professional wrestling wizard that I know if I should keep it traditional to the 3 back elbows or if I could change it, but I've changed it. It's because the fans are conditioned. We are conditioned as fans to when we see a wrestling match, a lot of matches share the same
Structure.
right? The same structure, and that tackle, drop down, hit the ropes, you can find that twice in 2 different matches on a show. 2 different matches, right? So it's common. The headlock, back elbow, and then hitting the ropes, that you can find in a couple matches on the same show, right? Those are traditional things that we do in wrestling, right? The fans are onto that. Nice shirt, by the way. The fans are on to that as well. So when you go 1, 2 back elbow off the headlock, hit the ropes, we already got them because they're expecting, oh, here comes 3 elbows. No, it's 2. Instead of the 10 punch, it's 3 punches and the heel fucking slipped out of it and fucking dropped them, right? So let that be a little tidbit for you when you start to get heavily into the training and to start to eventually get your matches in, right? You don't have to stick with what's traditional because the fans are on to the same shit that we're on to. And if we're talking about having a good show for the crowd and for the fans, then we always want to give them a curveball and give them something they weren't expecting.
Yep.
That make sense?
Absolutely.
That's going to be $40, my man.
Shit. I gotta go grab my wallet, actually.
So, and again, every match has the comedic moments. Not every match, but every show has a comedic moment. Not everyone can be or should be too serious, right? We need to have some fun. Joey Nails is a good example that he can have a competitive match, but when he comes out, he's very light-hearted and big smiles and hey, all right, which is cool. And even during his match, he's smiling and all that. If you haven't seen the podcast with Joey Nails, great podcast with Joey Nails to talk about how he got into it and how we as fans appreciate his facial expressions like that. So interviewer, backstage correspondent extraordinaire. Why do I call you the man of 1,002 gimmicks? Why do I say that?
If only these people could see what was in the wrestling group chat. How many gimmicks we go over that we think would be funny for me to have. I think we just went over one yesterday.
What was the one yesterday? What's the one you got?
You remember how I was saying I had the fever dream and I had to borrow the Outlaws
Yeah.
gear.
Mm-hmm.
So King goes, we could have him coming out in all these different guys' gears, pretending that he's them. Man, we've got Bailey Barton, which I am extremely excited to debut on April 4th.
Hey, good plug.
I think working with a guy like Connor Kingsley is going to be extremely fun.
Tell me about Connor Kingsley. Tell us about Connor Kingsley. Connor Kingsley is new on the scene. You are Bailey Barton is his boy coming in. Tell me about Connor Kingsley, and maybe I could get him on the podcast someday so we could talk. But you tell me about Connor Kingsley.
Do we want shoot or do we want gimmick?
I want it all. I want it all.
All right. Shoot. Connor is one of my best friends. Was a friend of Jake, and we became friends. Just one of the goofiest, nicest guys you can meet. Gimmick. The most humble, most gifted, and the richest CMW superstar, baby. And you can see him April 4th in Van Buren.
Man, I gotta get you on my side. All right, I'm gonna give you a name of a Crown and Main wrestler, and you in one word try to describe him.
Absolutely.
Sound like fun? All right. First name is gonna be DL Santos.
Mentor.
Okay. Next name is gonna be Logan Lennox.
Chicken shit.
Wyatt Holiday.
Gutsy.
We talked about him in Mike and Amanda's podcast, and I said that this guy has the most heart out of anyone I've ever met. This guy's a fighter. He's a fighter. He doesn't back down from anyone. He would He would rather take an ass whooping than to back down from a fight.
I mean, it shows that last show with Jason Maverick. He took his beating like a man, and he still came out on top.
Alan Prophet.
Savior.
Are you a fan?
I might be.
I think this year he's gonna really grow a lot. That's what I think.
Absolutely.
I think he's gonna grow a lot. I think he's good at what he does, but I think he's gonna get even better this year. So mark my words. This guy's gonna be taking bookings, hopefully up and down the East Coast.
He deserves it.
Absolutely. All right, Alan Prophet. Let's do. Samuel Matthews. I just had him on the podcast the other day.
Underrated.
That's a good one. Underrated. Why do you think he's underrated?
Like you said, he has the gift of gab. And just his in-ring work, he and for being 3 years in, like you talked about on the podcast, he's great. He's fantastic.
That was a good answer. Real good answer. I'm hoping for big things for Sammy Matthews this year as well. And if not this year, then definitely next year. But I'm just saying, like,
once again, somebody who deserves it.
Yeah, he got something for sure, and we just gotta he has it. We just gotta get it and allow him, right, to do that.
Yep.
And we'll talk more about that at a later time. But definitely Samuel Matthews. Let's do JP O'Reilly.
Hardcore.
Hardcore. You know
That's
what?
the one word.
When he sees this, he's just gonna smile.
Mm.
When he sees that, he's because
When
that's his
I
thing.
think of JP O'Reilly, I think of the thumbtacks. I think of the Legos. I mean, and he all the credit to him because that is some of the shit that I could never do.
Mm.
So
I like JP and a lot of these guys from downstate. I wish they were up here so we can build
me too.
a more of a relationship with them. Like we have a good relationship, but when it comes to the shows, but like how you and I have, or us and King,
Yep.
and it would have been so cool for us to be a part with them. Well, Mr. Connor Kingsley. Oh, not you. Oh yeah, Connor Kingsley.
Oh
Connor
wow.
Kingsley.
Man, what did I say earlier? Oh,
You said
humble.
humble. And the last one, Bailey Barton.
Charismatic.
Charismatic, and we're excited to see a lot of that from Mr. Bailey Barton. So again, Tommy, my man Tommy J, thank you for hanging out with me here today
Yeah,
on
thank you
this
for having
Friday.
me.
We had a
Yeah.
little bit of a winter storm just the other day, and we're
getting one
out of
tomorrow
that.
too.
But I really appreciate you hanging out with me. I hope you had yourself a good time here with me because
I had a great
I
time.
had a blast. So I don't like to do shout outs to social media, but I do like to have my guests give some words of inspiration or motivation or some tips and tricks for people who maybe just now coming in or would like to come into the business of professional wrestling.
Yeah, absolutely. Doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. Um, Professional wrestling is for everybody. And if you can, go support your local indie show. Offer to help break down. Start training. I'm thankful that I did because I would not be here sitting on this podcast with you if I didn't. So take the chance.
Take the chance. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the interviewer, backstage correspondent extraordinaire, Tommy J. I'm Lewis, and this has been the Beyond the Crown podcast.